All right. Indeed, a very, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of The Tackle. This is the Wednesday. It is the Wednesday of 14th July 2021. Tarehe 14 mwezi wa 7 mwaka 2021. Natumai kwamba uko salama na umeamka vizuri. This is Siasa Wednesday, coming to you every Wednesday. We get to discuss the political happenings of the week, or the political happenings of the week in the country, and everything that concerns you around politics. So this is The Tackle, Siasa Wednesday, coming to you today on the 14th of July 2021. As usual, I request already joining, please like. When you like, I get to know that you're watching us, and that I like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to wide the broadcast. This is The Tackle, and it begins now. Tuko na jamaa anaitwa NOTI ambaye anasema ni kiongozi wa vijana kwenye vuguvugu naibu wa rais, anasema Friends of William Ruto form. Na pia tuko na AMUNGA, jamaa wa Mudavadi bado yuko njiani, sijui safari ya ANC itafika State House lini, lakini msafara bado yuko barabarani. Basi atatuambia amefika dakika 5 ambazo zinakuja, atakuwa tayari amefika hapa. So tafadhali, when you join, please like. When you like, I get to know that you're watching us, and that you like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to watch the broadcast. This is The Tackle, and it begins now. Lakini kama kawaida, tuende mbele za Mungu tuombe, alafu kirudi na kuja kuwapa salamu zenu. Mighty Father, we come before you this morning. We thank you for that opportunity to be alive. We thank you for this show. Thank you for the conversations that we are about to have. As we start having them, we pray that may it edify the fabric of this country. Be with us when we start off, even the panelists and attack class. May you meet them at the point of individual needs. Jesus' mighty name I pray and believe. Amen and amen. Hi. Asante sana. Naona Munga Olita continue all the way from Covent United Kingdom. Tayari ameamka, amesema morning team Tackle tuning in from Covent United Kingdom. It is good to be part of this morning Siasa Wednesday show. Thanks. Asante sana Digango, good to see you. Kibrop KV, good morning Tacklers. I'm watching from Shiraz, Iran. Asante Moses Waweru Irungu. Good morning. We talk tuned in from Nairobi. Moses got it. Good morning Gerard. What's happening in the southern part? Wale bwana South Africa mambo kidogo imetupiga sagamnege. Haya. Okay, but South Africa has a very serious, it has an interesting foundation that I think the decision that was being made by the government on arresting Zuma was not the best. It could have demanded for more wisdom. I don't know. But anyway, that was South Africa. We have some guys who are in South Africa. They tell us what's going on in South Africa and where they feel they're satisfied or they're happy about what's going on in South Africa, or maybe they expected better. Anyway, if you're in South Africa, tuambie what's going on there. What do you think would have been the best way forward? Okay. Nani mwingine? Shadrack Mohamed, daktari mwenyewe wa mitishamba, jamaa kutoa vitambi. Amefika hapa tayari, anasema Shadrack Mohamed, hello, asante sana daktari, good morning, good to see you my brother. It's a pleasure to have you. Asante sana, karibu sana kwenye Tackle. Kilibo K Olen Tutu, morning team Tackle. Who is this in the house today? Jamaa anaitwa NOTI na AMUNGA, anapita AMUNGA, jamaa wa ANC. Musalia Mudavadi, Honorable Ike Kurgat, good morning from of champions. Asante sana. Ambassador Alfred Sajan, all the way from Perth, Australia. Good to see you, my brother. Asante sana. Thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate. Kosgei Gavin, good morning. Chamge watching from Rongo University, youth transformation. Asante sana Koge. Ambassador Alfred anasema our Kenyan safe. We know the resources aren't. Okay. I believe we and the resources are safe. Okay. Yeah, the Ambassador Alfred Sajan all the way from Australia. Anauliza kama Wakenya mko salama, kwa sababu anajua kwamba pesa haiko salama Kenya. Haya. Kandoj Brown Mwangi, good morning. Watching from Ruai, Nairobi. Asante sana. Pike Kimutai, good to see you my brother. Live and clear from Moyale. Asante sana. Nale kupeleka Moyale bwana, mama kupeleka jela watu. Haya. Naona Kandej Brown Mwangi I'm watching from Ruai, Nairobi. Asante sana. Daisy Maritimu Shimiwa Utawala anasema good morning my guys. Utawala tuko nokta. Asante sana. Mike To tuned in from Rentalo Twini. Hey jirani, mamba, good to see you. Azaba tuned in from Mom Kabenes. Asante sana. Elvis GW, good to see you my brother. Painter Kip tuned in from Nairobi. Kip Kembai To, good morning. Gerald, I had missed your show. Niko ndani kabisa. Asante sana Kip Kembai To. Moses Kodud Elo from Sydney. Thank you so much guys from Sydney, Australia. Aaron Derry to Westland, well tuned. Asante sana. Prince Lel More from Nairobi. From Nairobi, men, asante sana. Kamau tuned in from Marua. Asante. Melel Chris anasema Lelo live from Doha. Asante sana. Mark Morrison Biriri tuned in from Eldoret. Good to see you my brother Sangato. Good morning, in preparation for the Kiamba by-election Kiambu. Asante sana. George Momanyi tuned in from Joska Kangundo Road. Asante sana to Joska Kangundo. Ilari Lele, good morning General Bitoka. Have you recovered watching from Ildamata? Asante sana ndugu yangu. Ilari Lele, good to see you. Huku tuma supu bwana. Nilingoja supu nikaona supu haiko fika, nikasema haisuru. Wacha nipone. tuone. Haya. Rian Enoch Cheino, kijana ya governor mwenyewe Caleb Kositany anasema good morning #tatakola, asante sana. Felix Kipkosgei tuned in from E10 EMC. Calvin Atisa anasema tuned in from Island of Migingo, asante sana. Nancy Tuwei from Kesesi yuko ndani. Yagan Kimutaa from Western Kenya, asante sana ndugu yangu. Yagan huyu kijana kama nilikuwa naye shule mahali kidogo. Yagan, good to see you. Kiptoo Emmanuel, good morning bro. Kipkelion East Massive, asante sana. James Minor tuned in from United Kingdom. Jambo Gerald, Italy ili tufinya. Woi, waleni sana watu wa United Kingdom. Sige Kibro from Kansas City, good to see all the guys from diaspora. It's a pleasure to have you. Ishmael Mohammed Hali, good morning Gerald, tuned in to the show. Asante sana. Cyrus Wanjiku, good morning Gerald, great show. Thank you so much guys. Please when you join in, please like. When you like, I get to know that you're watching us. And that I like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to wide the broadcast. Wacha tuingie tusikie mambo ya huyu kijana yangu hapa. Nathaniel, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
Salama sana.
Nashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu.
Good to see you.
Nice.
It's your first time on the tackle?
Yes. And it's quite an honor. Naona watu hapa lakini nasema mimi nitakuja huku lini bwana.
Sasa umefika, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Sasa since wakati wako wa kwanza, maybe you can introduce yourself to this tacklers. Wewe ni nani, unafanya nini, wapi na kwa nini?
I'm a man of many faces. I'm Nathaniel NOTI, youth leader. I'm very passionate about the youth. Nilikuwa na mambo mengi before corona, but after corona unfortunately I've been limited. I'm now a chef.
Okay. Nice.
Pale waka unajua huko watu hawajazoea mankuli ya pwani.
Labda ndio tunakula biriani,
pilau, vianazi.
Alafu pia siasa ndio unaichapa.
Siasa pia tunaipika kabisa.
Sasa form ni gani? Ulisema form FOM ni gani?
Actually, point of correction, it's Form Kenya, because we are a national movement. Friends of RUTO movement Kenya is an entity that is a movement that was started by like-minded individuals back in late 2018. Tulikutana, tunaona jamaa anapigwa left, right and center, tuko na yeye. Some of us tulianza na yeye safari toka UDF, ODM, tukatoka huko referendum, so URP, tukaingia Jubilee. So tukashindwa how can we be part of this? So tukajikusanya from all over the country. Watu wengi wanadhania ya kwamba form tunafadhiliwa, which is not the case. We are a self-sponsored movement. Kila kitu tunajitolea. We tuko na mikutano all over the county. That was before corona. Tulianza na Nakuru, tukaenda Narok, tumeenda Nyeri, tumeenda Mombasa, tumeenda Taita Taveta County, tumekuwa na mikutano pia Nairobi. And basically what we do, we sensitize each other, tukieleza watu kwa tukiwakumbusha we are the ambassadors of the deputy president. And how we carry out ourselves is very important, kwa sababu sisi ndo tutamsaidia kupata hizo kura. Yeah, we are his foot soldiers on the ground, I'd say that. And sahi after corona tulia kwa sababu we cannot move, but we still have virtual meetings here and there, strategizing. Yeah.
Mko na members wangapi?
Members sahi, I'd start with the NEC, that is the National Executive Council, sorry. Tuko na members 1,834. Your number imederive from the region. We've categorized Kenya in 14 regions. So we have regional coordinators. Some of the regions include Coast. We have Mount Kenya region, South Rift, Central Rift, the Kajiado, Northeastern, Upper Eastern, South Nyanza. From the regional structures, those are 14 people tukaenda kwa county structure. That's we have 47 county coordinators. Then we have the sub-county coordinators. From that, then we go to the ward coordinators. Hiyo namba yote if you tally it up, it comes to 1834. We are currently under the process ya establish database our members, but I cannot give a definite answer on our members, but the plan is by January we hope to have 6 million members who in turn translate to votes.
6 million.
Sure win.
Okay. Asante sana. thank you the guys as well from the guys on YouTube. Because Grace Kamau is already up. Asante sana, good to see you Grace Kamau. It is indeed a good morning. Kama umeamka mapema Grace Kamau, basi inamaanisha kwamba Nairobi basi joto imerudi. If you are up early, that means the weather is not looking very bad in Nairobi. All right, so form do you? Friends of William Ruto from Kenya.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right. You're looking at 6 million members.
6 million members.
Haya, wewe umesema unatoka Kiamba. Mambo yanakaa vipi pale Kiamba?
Kiamba I'd say one thing, mambo kulingana vile watu wanaona kwa media nini sio hivyo. Mimi niko pale kwa ground na as they say kwa ground vitu ni tofauti.
Okay, media kwani kwa watu wa media wanasema aje?
Watu waonyeshi the true picture on the ground. Kiamba is yellow.
Okay.
Kiamba is yellow. Yes. Na hopefully ita translate Thursday tutaonyeshwa. Naam.
Okay. All right. So tungoje kesho tuone uchaguzi inakuwa vipi. Kwa nini Kiamba iko yellow? Why do you think Kiamba is yellow?
There are two reasons why. Okay. One is because of the president's undoing when aliachana na mambo ya Jubilee na akaleta akashikana na huyu jamaa wa vitandawili. That being a predominantly central zone, Mount Kenya zone, it did not go well with them.
Okay.
And number two, they feel the president has neglected them. Yeah.
All right. They feel the president has neglected them.
Yes.
Haya, so unasema kwamba Kiamba ni UDA
Kabisa.
Ikianguka itaenda aje?
Ikianguka, well, unajua watu wanasema, I think it's Stalin, the Russian dictator, alisema the kura, the president ule anashinda kura na determiniwa na wale wanahesabu kura at the end of the day. But as sure as the sky is blue, the people UDA. Sasa wale watahesabu mavitu hapo, hatujui watahesabu vipi. Lakini sisi tutajua. We will cross the river when it gets there. I mean the bridge when we get there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's too early to preempt.
All right. Yes. Okay. What do you think about what's going on in South Africa, sir?
South Africa, it's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate. I don't know. I think South Africans are rather emotional. Given their history na hii mambo ya xenophobia and all that. So I don't know. I honestly, I think they just need prayers. Tuombe tu kwa sababu the way things are going, I don't know. Si sawa. Na pia sisi Kenya, if you're not careful, we might be headed huko tu.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So if you're not careful, we might be headed. Where are we headed? What do you mean we could be headed there? Do you know what's going on in South Africa? What makes you think we should be headed there as Kenyans? Unajua,
paka ni mnyama mzuri sana. Ukimwona huko nje, miau atakukujia kwa mguu, atakupapasa. Next thing you know, utamweka ndani ya nyumba yako. Sio? Lakini ule paka huwezi muonyesha madharau. There is so much that they can take. Ukimsukuma kwa ukuta, huwa wanasema if you're in the bathroom with a cat and you try to kill it, chances are ni wewe utauliwa. Now what am I trying to say? We can liken the Kenyans to the cat and the system and our leaders to ule mtu ambaye anataka kupiga ile paka. Ukiangalia hii mambo ya VAT, ukiangalia hii jana mambo ya school fees nini, corona ndio hiyo, the countries under hiyo lockdown, watu hawezi songa. Sasa there's so much that we can take, brother. There's so much that we can take. So our leaders need to understand us, watusaidie. Yeah, and that is why, sorry to say this, lakini unaona pale bottom up inaingilia sasa.
So hii bottom up ni nini haswa? What is it all about?
Hii bottom up, I'm not the best person to talk about it,
but you're part of the movement.
From my understanding, there are more technical people who can give a befitting answer than I can. But naona ni, unajua, kama sai Kenya's economy is all about vile wanajipanga, tujenge barabara, let's build the railway, let's build hospitals, nini. What is the point ya kuwa barabara na ujali mtu ambaye atatembea kwa hiyo barabara? What is the point ya kuwa na SGR na ujui? I mean, we don't care huyo mtu atapanda hiyo SGR.
But do you think infrastructure is good? Because, while at it, do you think there's also the tendency of losing the objectivity of it? Do you think infrastructure is good? Do you think when you're driving on a good road, is that not a good thing?
Economy inasaidia, kama sisi huko Taita imetufungua in a way, okay? But let's look at the big picture here, boss.
Which is?
Mwananchi, okay? The 47 million Kenyans out there. Wale ambao wajiwezi. Hii barabara, ni watu wangapi hata kwanza wanaweza toka pale wako, waende Mombasa? Ama waende wapande sijui SGR waende wapi, ni watu kidogo sana. It's these roads, watu ambaye ultimately if you look at it, the people who are benefiting from the roads ni watu kidogo sana. Kidogo sana. Hii babadilia kujenga tumia billions kujenga mabarabara, si tuinue hustler jamani.
Tumuinue vipi? Because there's no economy that has been lifted without infrastructure, because it's easy to say tuinue
lakini kidogo iko hii pesa ingine badili. Unajua, let me tell you, and I'm sorry to say, if we were in developed countries ama hizi nchi zingine ambazo they have
ambazo naziko na barabara, so umeona wako na barabara.
Yes, lakini unaona hii barabara, acha niseme point moja hapa. Hizi barabara zinatumiwa, unfortunately they're not being used for the point. Hiyo reason unasema sasa hii barabara inatumiwa watu wakule pesa bwana. Watu wanakaa wanaona hii barabara, tujenge hii barabara hapa, inflate your cost, nini procurement scandals, what. Ultimately they're not to help them mwananchi. Ni mtu anaweka barabara to the middle of nowhere ili tu akule hiyo pesa. Hiyo pesa badala ya kuenda hivyo barabara ambazo watu hata watembelei. Jamani, tusaidie hustler. Let's help the hustlers huku chini. Okay, people have been dissing this Wilbaronomics nini, but I challenge you to talk siku moja kwa studio, twende huko to interview watu huko. Unaona, tuone mtu na ile wheelbarrow yako ya matunda. Wengine wetu hapa tunavaa masuti mashati hapa nini, but that guy with that wheelbarrow makes 2,000 3,000 in a day. Watu wangapi hii Nairobi na masuti hata wanapata hiyo net ya 30,000 in a month. Mind you, tena uweke ikatwe matax nini. I mean, the hustler, empowering the hustler is the way to go. Kwa sababu hiyo hata itakuwa na direct boost to the economy. If you ask me, well, I'm not a David D ama economic, but mimi kulingana kama kijana hivyo ndo mimi naona. Yeah, and we've been trying this infrastructure thing what since time immemorial. I mean, wanasema if you keep doing things in the same way, you keep getting the same results. So we want something different. Mbona tusipose hii barabara kidogo? Hako ka 30 billion to inject kwa hustlers. Yes.
What is the structure to inject here pesa?
For sure, bado hatuna. We've not been given a directive because just sisi tunafuata boss. Lakini I believe in proactiveness, and as Form Kenya we are proactive enough. And our able chairman, Engineer Masibo, we've come up with what we call the Hustlers Directory. So we've grouped the informal sector to make group into 50 categories. Tukianza na barbers, watu wa saloon, fishmongers, matatu industry, boda, watu wa maba, watu wa kuuza mtumba. They're about 50. I don't have the whole list, but I believe you get in the drift. So, hii informal sector tunai group hivyo into something that is formal. We are not just Friends of RUTO movement Kenya is not just here to help Ghana votes for the deputy president.
Okay.
No. Hiyo ni step 1. Step 2, tukiingia pale tunataka tumsaidie kwa sababu we have the numbers. Sisi ndo tuko kwa ground. Tunajua hao watu. Sasa ukiniuliza fishmonger sijui wapi tuko kwako, labda niko namjua. Okay? So since we have this database, deputy president says, when inshallah atakuwa president sasa, sisi ndo tutamsaidia, tumwambie sasa, unajua tuko na mafishmonger hivi, they're distributed like this over the country, hii pesa tunaweza. That is our plan. Tunataka tumsaidie hivyo. Sasa hatujui yeye amejipanga aje, but sisi tunaanza hivyo. Unajua the deputy president is looking for partners, not sycophants. Yes.
All right. Now, let me ask you, there has been a conversation about what's going on in Kiamba, and the people feel that it's not about the people of Kiamba. It's an issue of political supremacy battle in Kiamba that has nothing to do with the people. I don't know, what's your feeling on the ground, since you also come from Kiamba?
I'll tell you, it is obviously a duel between the president and the deputy president.
Why is it a duel between?
I'll answer you with facts. Number one fact, let me just give you that. Ukiangalia huyu Karanja Kariri Njama, the Jubilee fella, in his campaign material, we see photos of the president. Okay? Tukiangalia ujama wengine Wanjiku, on his campaign material, ameweka deputy president. Okay? So that tayari inakuonyesha kitu. Yes. That already shows you, political easy symbology. There's so much said in the unsaid. It is said so. Yeah.
So at what point is it about the people of Kiamba? Because then you are admitting the obvious that when you admit that it's a duel between the president and the deputy president,
yes.
When is it about the people of Kiamba? Don't you think then you're losing the radar?
No. Thank you. That Rajua, step by step.
Okay.
So watu wa Kiamba wanaingilia wapi hapa? Remember this, the Kiamba by-election is a very sensitive issue because it is happening at the president's backyard. Number one. Number two, it is the same president ambaye alikuja akasema 10 yangu 10 yake. Okay? Na alisema wapi? All over, including kwake at his home turf. So he gave his people a directive. Unaelewa?
But how is Kiamba a constituency about the presidency? I don't get it.
Kiambu. President anatoka wapi? Base yake ni wapi? Najua hata saa hii Bitoku kiamua anataka kusimama. Okay? Si kuna mahali kidogo unajua mnaanza ni kuna zile kura zangu. Na za Uhuru ni Kiambu. Kiamba is in Kiambu. Yes. That is their zone. Ni kama vile tukiongea
sijui kama ni maswali hatujaelewana ama ni maelezo yako sijaelewa.
Naam.
What is the relationship between the president, the deputy president and the Kiamba seat being a duel between the president and deputy president? Where does it connect? Where is it about the 10 years you're saying aliahidi miaka 10? Inahusiana vipi? Hii ni constituency.
Unajua wewe hujaniacha nimalize.
Nimekupa nafasi sasa nimeona umefika mahali mambo yako yameisha.
Hapana. Alisema 10 yangu 10 yake. Unaona kwa watu wa Kiamba waeleza hivyo. Then baadaye akakuja amegeuka. Unaelewa? Watu wa Kiamba ni waungwana. Okay? And they don't want to be associated na hii political conmanship, if I'm to say. Unajua, for someone to come and say this thing and then you come backtrack na uchukue another different route, yeah? It says something about watu ambao anawa represent. And that is what the Kiamba people are coming strongly against.
Okay.
Wanataka kusema wao, they are not part ya hiyo uongo na conmanship. And that is the message that they are going to send in no uncertain terms to the president.
So where does it leave the people of Kiamba themselves? I mean, these are people who need services. You're telling these people the presidency about 10 years.
Yes.
What's going to happen to these people who need water, piped water, who need roads, who need markets, who need all these things? When you go and tell them that it's about kumi yangu, kumi yako, it's about the president and his deputy president, where does it leave the people? In all honesty.
Okay. As our deputy president says, Kenya has a shortage of fools. Okay? And the people of Kiamba wakikaa wakiangalia hivi, wanaona the leaders available to them. Wanaona sera ya kiongozi wao. They've seen the split between the two, apparently. And they can see the path that...
what is a split? Where do these people stand for? What do they stand for? Where is the split?
To be honest, hata mimi sielewi. I think it's just political.
Wewe ni mtu wa Kiamba lakini uelewi where the split is. AMUNGA, good to see you. And this is your last warning.
Guys,
this is your last
pray
warning.
For me, a truck
in fact, I don't know where I've not seen you hive this morning here on the show.
A truck fell on the just ahead of me, just when I was turning the corner.
You're in a scam.
But I want to say, first of all, I want to apologize to all our listeners and viewers.
I've never met a teacher who goes to class.
I am late, and I will never. I've been coming to this show. I've never been late. In fact, I normally arrive before Bitok himself. So even the warning doesn't stand. I want to say I'm happy to be here as usual. I want to say that I've been listening to the show as I was coming. I had put it on my Facebook. And I've been listening to the discussion. It's a good discussion. It's just that the good thing about we as Kenyans, we must learn. As my dear friend is also putting it, the RUTO, kind of thing. we don't want to see it again come 2022. There is a man who is
want
sober.
to
There's a
Mudavadi.
man who is talking about the economy. He's not talking about this like bottom and up and such. He's talking about an economy that works for all. Kiamba people, there is an economy that works for all, not for some bottom to up or up to bottom. That person talking like that, his name is Musalia Mudavadi, and he's the president, the 5th president of this country. No, atusi mutu, aongee kitu mbaya, ajui kuongea chafu, ajui break COVID rules. Yani he's just a man,
a gentleman,
just a gentleman.
Lakini anaona siasa kweli ni mali ya gentleman ama siasa ni mali ya mabereduli kama wewe?
Iko mtu alikuwa anaitwa Kibaki. Alikuwa hivyo tu. Alikuwa mtu tu gentleman namna hiyo. Isipokuwa tu wakati kidogo anasema anatusi mtu kama sijui nini kuku, but otherwise that is the kind of politics we need in 2022 to recover this economy. To recover, to put Kenya back to where it was. Musalia
Mudavadi. So nikuuliza Amunga, hii design ya Musalia Mudavadi ni gani? Everybody, suddenly we all talking about the economy. Mudavadi is not telling us NASA anymore. Raila Odinga is not telling us about kitendawili. Everyone has something. Now Raila Odinga has a rural program. He's saying akoya mashinani. Naitwa rural to city. Unaenda huko mashinani unakangana na watu. Hawa wa William Ruto anasema kuna nyingine inaitwa bottom up economy.
Yes.
Hii yenu nasikia mko na sijui middle out.
No, inaitwa tu economy that works for all.
Hii ni gani ya Mudavadi?
Musalia Mudavadi has been there. You know, he was the Minister for Finance at the time when Kenya was going through what we are going through. The Moi era, we are talking about 1993, 94, coming to all those times when we had the golden bag. Just after the golden bag, that's 1989 onwards. Now, Musalia came from Nairobi school, got into the university, playing for Black Mamba and he was known as the Phantom. Because of his calculative moves, you know. People in Nairobi school will tell you, Musalia will arrive without, the geometrics he'll use in the field are impossible. The tactics he used to use. These tactics, he came with them into the treasury. Talk about 93. IMF had put sanctions on this country. Big sanctions. Moi needed a person who can get this country out. Saitoti was the vice president that time and also Minister for Finance. He was put aside and Musalia put there. I want to tell you, within 5 years, Musalia put the country back on track. Musalia, even these funny things we hear about Juma Kaburini, these are political shenanigans brought about by people who, haters. Haters are all over. But Musalia was absolved from Golden Bag. He was absolved from the Makaburi issue. And Musalia has remained steadfast. The Breton institutions, talk about the donors of this country. I go to Musalia Mudavadi Center almost every morning. You will always get people from IMF, people from EU, people from the Canadian, Danish.
They still think he's the deputy president.
No, they come there. Not because he's the deputy president, but there are things they want to know.
Think he's the vice president.
Yes, this thing he had that time, can it be applied at this time where the country's economy is down? So people like William Ruto somewhere, people like Raila are discovering that the discussion, young people, most of you are seated here, my brother involved, all of you now are thinking about pesa mfukoni. You want money in your pocket. You want a business that works. Empty politics, euphoria. Ile tulikuwa nayo ya 2017. Ile ya tialala tibim sijui nini.
Lakini nyinyi mlikuwa mnasema NASA ama aliokoka.
Tumetoka kwa hiyo vitu.
Alinaswa.
So Musalia is selling a very good ideology. It's a paradigm shift that we as Kenyans can think about. The only problem, and what Kenyans have never known, the man who comes to you talking soberly, talking the way I'm talking nicely like this, he's never hated. People want a preacher like Kanyari who comes preaching, hey, is it 310? Yesu, nini, and then everybody thinks that's the best preacher. There are preachers in this country who don't shout, who don't scream, but the message goes home. That's the type of person Musalia is. You don't need to shout for people to get saved. You don't need to shout and say Jesus saves for everybody to get saved. You can just say Jesus saves. And that's enough. Musalia is coming out as that sober, that still, silent voice that Kenya needs at this time.
Don't you think you could convince more people than Musalia Mudavadi? Sometimes I wonder. Does he think you could do a better job than Musalia?
In fact, sometimes Musalia tells me that I shout too much. Musalia doesn't like people who shout. He likes people he likes calmness. He's a boardroom person. He's a person who knows, and that's what Kenya needs.
So let me ask you,
It doesn't need a person who is shouting in the field there and doing a lot of rallies and euphoria. Kenya right now needs sobriety, and that's where we are today.
So let me ask you, it has taken Musalia Mudavadi over 30 years to remember you as a finance minister. Suddenly.
No. You know, apart from being the Minister of Finance, at one time he was the Minister for Local. He has been the Deputy...
He's not talking about that he was a Vice President at some point.
No.
He's not talking about he was a Minister in local government. He's not talking about all these things.
He was even a Deputy Prime Minister.
He was Deputy Prime Minister. You know, suddenly, Musalia Mudavadi remembers 30 good old days.
Can I answer you why, please? If you allow me. You know, karibu.
AMUNGA is my name.
Karibu bwana AMUNGA. Kabla nimjibu nataka tu kukubaliana naye hoja mbili tatu. I'm an old boy of Nairobi school. Wow. So that makes me an old Cambrian.
Wow.
And I also played rugby. I played number 5.
You are a supporter of Musalia Mudavadi.
So sit straight, huh?
Musalia
moving too much.
Okay, sorry. Musalia Mudavadi was playing number 8. You asked a very good question, and I'll answer you why. Ever since 2013, William Samoei Ruto has been controlling the narrative. Tulianza mambo ya coalition, watu wakaanza pia mambo ya coalition. Hao wamejipanga, wakafuata vile sisi tunakuja. We are the leaders, they follow. We are the people, we are the first people to start the bottoms up narrative to discuss, the economy. After hiyo kila mtu ameanza mambo economy.
My brother, you've never heard of Musalia talking about the economy all these years.
But ameanza sahi after tumekuja.
No. Musalia has always, his running point, his theme, crying call has always been, Bitok is here, uchumi bora. Economy.
Mimi nimesikia Peter AMUNGA hata kuliko Mudavadi.
Musalia amekuja tu alipoona sasa tumekuja na hii bottoms up nini ndo akakumbuka unajua mimi nilikuwa finance minister kwa sababu right now what Kenyans interested in shida yetu ni mambo ya pesa. Na Ruto amekuja na solution. And Biden mwenyewe is adopting the bottoms up solution.
But there's been a conversation anyway also as you bring that in. This is a sitting deputy president.
Yeah.
And everyone would wonder, okay.
Yeah, that's the question I need to ask.
Right. So at what point does this start? Why is it not working now? Because these are people who had a manifesto.
Thank you.
I'll answer it. I'll answer it for you, my brother, from Nairobi school, old boy. The reason why we will not believe what Samoei William Ruto is telling us, even people who may call themselves hustlers should be very careful. He is in government. As I speak right now, Samoei William Ruto is my friend. He's seated at the number 2 house in this country. If he wanted to do what he's telling me, my friend is telling me about bottom up and middle up and whatever, all those bottom ups of his, he could be doing them now. This is the time he should be doing. He should be helping his friend Uhuru Kenyatta to do something to help this economy. The suffering that we are going through, you cannot disassociate yourself. You can't keep coming to tell us that I'll do it in 2022. Do it now. The Bible says now. Now is the time. Now, my friend, my brother, it is time. No, wait, brother. We have to agree on this one. You've been talking all the way when I was in the car. Now tell Kenyans, as your vice president, this is what I'm doing for you. I'm putting money in your pockets as your vice president. But when you call people to but when you talk about 2022 and you are in government and you've been in government for 10 years, you are sending a wrong signal. And that's the signal we are going to ride on as Musalia campaign team. We are going to tell Kenyans, don't believe these guys. These guys have been in power for 10 years. They came as a package. We were hearing Tano Tena, Uhuru Ruto. Those are 2 names. That's not one name. Tano Tena, Kumi Tena is now over. Now we want to talk about another 5 good years of recovery of the economy.
But even before I give it back to NOTI, now the question is, Peter AMUNGA.
Yeah.
Even you're giving us all these sweet stories.
Yes.
Musalia Mudavadi, at 30 years.
Yes.
You are past, I think you should be getting to 50.
Yeah, I'm 50.
You've not even become a minister. Musalia Mudavadi at 30 was a finance minister.
Yeah, 28, yeah.
28?
Yeah.
Very good. Now you're even making it worse. 28 he was a minister.
Yes.
He's been a vice president of this country.
Yeah.
He's been in charge of several ministers. He's been a deputy prime minister. He's had all these portfolios. You know, in all fairness, when you bash this William Ruto guy, who is a youngin going to against Mudavadi, I mean, what is it that you're also coming to tell us? Because you're telling us about what these other guys is not doing. How do you want to do this? And where do we get the rubber from all these stories that you're giving us?
I love that question.
Yeah.
Yes, because Musalia Mudavadi has a track record. As
Where
Minister of Finance, he helped Kenya to recover from the IMF conditions and the SAPs. We used to call them SAPs. Structural Adjustment Program, SAPs. Yeah. There was those retirements and retrenchments when things were like post-war going down. He at least helped the economy. When Musalia Mudavadi left the Ministry of Finance, fuel, petrol, ile leo nimeweka 500, hata hiyo zinifikisha hapo imekwama kwa njia. Let me tell you, Musalia Mudavadi left as a finance minister when fuel in this country was 28 bob. He was 28 years and fuel was 28 bob.
Okay.
Super. Petrol. Today it is 128. So Musalia has a track record. He's a person who can say, when I was in power, I did this. I talked to IMF. They did this. They adjusted this. The country economy remained stable. The shilling remained stable. The shilling was changing. When Musalia Mudavadi left, the Kenya shilling was changing at 75 bob. Today it's at around 120 shillings. So if we put Musalia here, we put these bottom-up fellows up here, you'll discover that Musalia has a track record. They don't have a track record. Period.
Allow me to answer, please.
Okay.
I always love basing my talks on history, okay? If we go back to the history of Kenya, only 2 vice presidents have made it to be president, and that is Moi and Kibaki, okay? Kibaki was also a very, very powerful, back then, he was a very powerful vice president compared to Ruto right now. But there wasn't much that alifanya. Sahi tuna economically we praise Kibaki, okay, for his term. Much of the development in terms of, we were talking about infrastructure earlier on, ambayo tunaona Kenya tunajivunia. Ilikuja juu ya Kibaki. Hii pikipiki, Kibaki ndo alifungua. Thank you. Na hii mambo ya mchina watu wakaanza bodaboda ikakwanza huko Western ikaenda kile vijana wengi hustlers you get, but what did Kibaki alifanya yote akiwa president? No. Hakuweza. Akiwa vice president he couldn't. But alipopata uongozi, that's when now he took matters into his own hands. Now we saw what he had to do. Same thing as Moi. When Moi was a vice president, he was more of an outsider among the Mount Kenya mafia. When Kenyatta ali pass away, ndio sasa Moi alikuja akakuja na the Nyayo philosophy. Okay? And that's when sasa alijaribu kufanya bora. And people, it was until 1982 that's when people felt, hey, Moi has lost it kidogo. But back then, Moi alionekana a better option to the vast of Kenyans. So, what I'm trying to say, history imetuonyesha. Hii Kenya vile yuko bwana, unaweza kuwa deputy, unaweza kuwa nini, lakini ule ako pale ndo kila kitu. So, jamani, Ruto hata mnaona mambo anapitia. Sasa hii hata Matiang'i ndo sasa sijui ndo super sijui what. Ruto has been kicked out. So, what do you want him hiyo bottom up ata implement aje? Tusubiri, it's just a year. Aingie uone and hata wewe kwanza utafurahi.
Wacha ndio nikuruhusu kwa Mudavadi. You've been watching Kiamba.
Yes.
You've been what's going on in Kiamba.
Yes, sir.
Unaonaje mambo pale?
Kiamba, I've actually happened to be on a WhatsApp group with a lot of leaders from Jubilee, the Jubilee Kieleweke, the one that is, I think, with Murade, and actually we're on the same WhatsApp group. And I hope
what is
he's listening to me.
Jubilee?
You know, they like me. They just like me. Those guys. Even on Tanga forums, I'm a strong member on Tanga forums.
I heard you were there.
Yeah, they threw me out recently. Now, my friend,
and in fact, they are saying you're still smelling of the sheep's skin.
Now, I want to say this. I have told them on that forum, why didn't you just allow ANC to help you to fight the way we did in Matungu? We beat William Ruto hands down in Matungu as ANC. We were there in Kabuchai, some place called Kabuchai. My friend, I'm sure you've not heard of such good names.
Which is a territory. It's still Western Kenya.
We were
that
there.
Makes ANC just a territorial party. We
are
a national party. Mbona Kiamba msimami?
Sasa in Kiamba, because we are in some kind of partnership with Jubilee Kieleweke, they didn't field a candidate in Matungu. They told us,
you haven't got a dedicated partnership. Entanglement.
Yes. Machakos, they told us, wacha wiper now pia. Tukawambia, okay, we won't interfere. We have an arrangement. When they came now to this place called Kiamba, we told them, unajua uko ndio kwa mkubwa, sisi uko sasa, wacha tukae kando. But I was telling them on that forum, guys, why didn't you allow people like Musalia Mudavadi? If you, Brother Murade, and the others, you are embarrassing the president. My friend Rafael told you, the president should not lose in Kiamba. Actually, let me say this. If Uda wins in Kiamba, and I don't know why I'm praying it should not happen, but in case Uda wins, they will have relegated the president almost to, in terms of influence and political influence, almost to nothing. Because anytime he'll even come to Musalia or Kakamega, where I come from, we'll tell him, but ulianguka kwako Kiamba. Sasa huko unakuja kukampenia sisi nini? It will be so hard for him to even form a coalition with anyone. Even me, I'll be uneasy to form a coalition with the president or with the Tuju or Murade. I'll feel very bad because if they lost in Kiamba, how will I want to form a coalition?
But what are the possibilities? Because I'm sure you are a good student of politics and you've analyzed the numbers. How are they looking like?
Yes. Uda looks to be very strong. We have seen the way they are moving around. They look very organized. I don't know. The devil, give the devil his dues. The devil called, okay, let me not use the name, they may sue me. But these guys have shown some kind of militarism in their campaign, in some order.
Thank you.
Which, to those guys out there in Kiamba, those guys who may feel like they are like, hustling, their economy is not well on them, they feel like a few hours have not been removed for a long time. Most of the people from Kiambu here and Kiamba, ni watu wanakuja hapa kuhawk, kufanya nini, ni watu kupanda mboga. No, ni wa Kenya.
The hustlers.
Neno hustler itaribu. Ni wa Kenya tu wa kawaida. Now, usifikiri kwamba ukitoka kwa president ati wewe huwezi kuwa Mkenya. Wewe ni Mkenya tu bado unasumbuka kutafuta pesa. Neno hustler sitatumia. Sasa the issue is,
why do we have hustlers coming from the president's background?
These people normally come to sell to us here vegetables, their trucks, their nini.
Wheelbarrows.
They come here to sell. They come with pickups. They don't just come with wheelbarrows. Now, when their businesses are affected, and these curfew things, they are not seeing like the corona issue. Because they see, our viongozi wanatuambia kwamba kuna corona, but these guys still go out to do rallies. So if you looked at Kiamba rallies, they are full. And it has surprised us. Okay. Then this lady who was the woman rep from that area. Yeah. When she defected. That one again also must have gone with a lot of people. So I'm a political analyst. I can tell you from the optics, Uda seems to have an hand. But elections is elections. A day in politics is 1,000 years.
True.
And many things may be happening now under the ground. I have a feeling after the loss in Juja, Jubilee cannot be sleeping. I don't think where they are tonight. If they have a way, if God could open for them a way to do anything.
To steal.
No, I will not use the word to steal. But to do anything, Chebukati or the Savas or I don't know, or Timofo, if there's anything that Jubilee could do,
they need to do it.
They will have to do it because they must save the press of the president.
Okay. So what do you think is going to happen then in an event that Jubilee loses to UDA?
Once Jubilee loses, of course,
especially as we move forward now, this is now your coalition partner.
No,
what do you think? What is the message?
We will seek a divorce.
What is the message?
Because obviously we will
welcome.
not want to be with. Kenyans don't like losers. Our party ANC won in Matungu, we won in Kabuchai.
Western region.
We won.
Western region.
They won, whatever.
Yes, we won.
They won.
and
that is a message.
Yes. And I feel
Western region.
Our partner also called Wiper in Machakos, we saw them win Uda.
Eastern region.
They beat Uda.
Not national region.
Hands down.
And
so we were expecting also our friend partner called Jubilee, Kieleweke, to win Kiamba and Juja. If they don't win, we shall have to meet them. And my friends, we will give you a lashing. a tongue lashing. We shall tell them that you guys are messing. You are messing the name of the president. But I want to say this now. The problem in Kiamba, and we talk now, I want to be very serious because my listeners will love this. It is Raila Odinga.
The problem in Kiamba is Raila Odinga.
The day the president and his advisors will tell him,
Yeah.
this handshake has costed you,
In Central.
is the day the president will start having influence in in Central. But the long as he continues this narrative of his that, tuko handshake, Raila alinisaidia, I'm now ruling in a better way than I used to do.
Yeah.
That narrative cannot sell in Central. And even in Kakamega, even from Salaba, where I come from.
glad
We
you're on
no
the same
longer
page
want
on
to listen
that.
about that old Muse. He has had his time. He has tried his bullets. He had one bullet.
Amesema ako na magazine.
He cheated our brother Musalia Mudavadi that he has one bullet. Now he's telling us he has a magazine.
Kwani
He's a
Mudavadi did
liar.
not check whether they are still
So what is
That
costing?
says something about Musalia.
What is costing our president? And I want our brother who is doing social media to make sure this goes out properly, this clip. What is costing our president in Juja, in Kiamba, and it will cost him in 2022 if he continues,
True.
is his association with this man called Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga, wacha pambane kivyake huko. Alitukosea sisi watu wa NASA, hatumutaki. Na tutaki kuona yeye tena na president because we know him. We are telling the president, if you want to win Kiamba, after today, go to Kiambu and announce, go to one of these FM stations and say, I am no longer with Raila Odinga. You will win Kiamba. But as long as that man called Raila Odinga, and you know these guys of UDA, they are very clever guys. Now they are getting a picture, photocopy picture of Raila standing with the Jubilee candidate. Alafu hiyo picture zinasambazwa kila mahali. That picture alone of the Kiamba Jubilee Kieleweke candidate with Raila is costing the president all the votes. I wish I could advise the president. I wish somebody could take me near State House and tell him, mzee, wachana na huyu mzee mwingine anaitwa Raila. Ukitaka kushinda Kiamba, wachana na huyo mzee.
Kwa hivyo Kiamba hashindi.
As long as that picture is still doing rounds of that Photoshop picture of Raila and because the people in Kiamba see it and say, Ona, Modosho,
Kemodo.
Kemodo, Kemogoroki. They will remember those words. And those words were done by me. Me, I campaigned for RUTO. I was among the guys with Kina Moses Kuria who went to Kiambu, to Juja. And we were telling the people there, this man ni mchawi, huyu mtu sijui ni nini. Now when you come back and tell us now I'm with this man, you have not washed him up. You've not showed us how he changed. When did he get saved now not to be a mchawi, not to be a mugoroki? As long as that narrative still lingers in the mind of Central, Mount Kenya.
But Amunga, you're being very insincere. You're being very insincere as well because this has been your coalition partner. Raila Odinga has been a coalition partner of Musalia Mudavadi. They were answering people together.
Can I answer that for you?
What has changed?
Can I answer that for you? You see, Raila is a spent force. Okay? The old man cannot endure a gruesome 5-county campaign.
But the thing is, when you guys are talking about
with all due respect,
you are fighting Raila Odinga. He's talking about Raila Odinga. He's not a good guy. They have been in a coalition. They are negotiating coalitions the other day, reviving, I don't know, is it NASA or whatever it is. Yeah. Where is the sincerity in what you guys
Raila,
are saying?
I'm glad we both agree. Kwa hii question, Raila hayuko. He's a tad bit fatigued and for the present day politics, okay, and the rat race that pertains to it. Yes, tumtoe tu, yani hayuko. Hata pia Musalia, I must say that.
Musalia,
if I'm to say something,
don't say
Musalia lost his footing in 2013.
What did he do?
When he decided to go Mansolo, when at the era where everybody was in coalitions, okay. I don't know what point he was trying to show us. Paka sahi sijui yeye ndo anajua, and he further backtracked to NASA, which it can reduce his political relevance to even below sea level. And this is what I want to say about Musalia. I might agree with you. Give me time.
Talk about Raila.
Just give me time. He has the demeanor of a national leader. I mean, he's cool, he's calm, he's just let me finish. He's his disposition, okay? In as much as he lacks charisma. But this is what I want to say. Musalia Mudavadi is assured of a front row seat in political wilderness if he does not follow Hustler Nation. As long as he continues being indecisive, as long as he keeps on betting on the wrong horse, as he has been doing, huyo mambo yake kwisha. Na hata nikwambie, the good thing that we love about Musalia, ni vitu ambazo alijifundisha Nairobi School. Nairobi School is a school, the Prince of Wales, schools of, where we breed gentlemen, like me and Mudavadi, Musalia and I. No, hiyo tu nafanya. Mimi nikifika hiyo miaka.
So I'm a gentleman. Ndio utaanza kuwa gentleman.
No, I have to say something.
Sangapi? I arrived even before you.
Right of reply.
You can't keep time. You're not gentlemen.
I want to say something.
It says something about you.
So let me ask you.
No, I want to answer the question of why
45 minutes late.
the insincerity about...
So Musalia Mudavadi does not have a footing.
He's also footing Kitambo. He's below. Unless akuje Hustler Nation. That is his only salvation.
First of all,
Yes.
I'm sure if Ruto was listening to this program today, he'll apologize on behalf of my friend here. Because William Samuel Ruto respects this man called Musalia. Recently, June Ruto had a wedding. Among the only dignitaries who attended the wedding from the political field, a man who stands with other men.
A gentleman. From Nairobi School.
Was Musalia Mudavadi. He came for the wedding, and Musalia and Mama Rachel received him properly and welcomed him in their home. And Musalia is a man who is welcome, whether it's in State House. He never lose footing. He'll never be in the wilderness. Whether it's... Uhuru is at peace with Musalia. We saw it during the funeral of Mama Anna.
Yeah.
Musalia is... Even Raila is at peace with Musalia. The only issue now that I have is, and which my brother will learn, which he didn't learn at Nairobi School, and I'll teach him today, is that euphoria, noise, fury, fire has never done anything that brings... That's why Raila has never been president. Uhuru and the hustler will have to learn that fury, kelele, tikili, tiabam,
But when unapiga kelele
those things, no, listen. Those things have never...
These are unionist.
You are the one who is shouting.
These are unionist. He's being a unionist.
It says something about you.
No, I'm sure when I go back to the office, they'll tell me you are shouting because they don't like it. But I want to say this. Fire and brimstone has never led anyone in this country to be president. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga never became president. The man was in prison. Jomo Kenyatta came out with a fly whisk. He became president. Moi, in fact, Moi could not even talk. According to people, Moi didn't even have language. He at least knew Mukona language at you bottoms, you ups. But this man called Moi didn't even have that kind of language. He was not even a degree holder. But he ruled this country. Mimi nasikianga alikuwa anapigwa viboko hata na the president that time. Come to Mwai Emilio Kibaki, my friend. That man, kitu alikuwa anajulikana ni Nyeri, Othaya. In fact, people in my village didn't know that man can even walk, can even visit this country. Othaya, everything you hear about Emilio Kibaki was Othaya and Nyeri. But he became a president. In fact, if anybody was noisy and could become president that time, it was Raila. The noise we are seeing today in this is 2022 now, 2021 now, this noise will not result in votes. It never does in this country.
Okay.
Presidential material, my brother, my papa, First Atwoli taught me something. The presidency is not decided in those rallies.
Okay.
It's not decided in those noise making that you see UDA doing. Those are for MPs and by-elections. But when you come to presidency is determined by other factors.
Right.
They include, and I want people from William Ruto team to listen.
Please, list.
They include the mafias that control the economies of this world. The things you hear about this Princeton institution, these things you hear about IMFs, these donors. The presidency of this country is going to be determined not just by voters. People will sit down. Don't imagine that Joe Biden just beat Trump. Very many other factors were at play before Joe Biden wins.
Okay.
So these other factors are what now that the team of William Ruto loses out.
Really?
They lose out in terms of too much noise, too much threats, too much answering. There are times when I see Sir William Ruto reply, me I call him Sir, because I really respect him in terms of, you know. But you know, when you reply someone like when Raila goes to Mombasa and says those things of his about, oh, thieves, I don't know, there was a thief who... You don't reply. Let him go on with his talk. But the
That's
moment
your
you
opinion,
reply,
bro.
the moment you reply, you play into their gallery.
So let me ask you, these are all things you know. You're saying you know all these things, how presidents are made. You have a presidential candidate that never runs. That comes out to tell us, this time, Mimi, but middle out, economy works for all. Then suddenly, he's behind Raila Odinga.
This time,
I mean, you know all these things, how to become president.
Yes.
But, I mean, how is that your guy has never gotten in?
that's why I've joined this team.
That's why.
You see,
Finally.
I was in
indecisive.
RUTO team. Now I am in ANC. I want to say
To
I'm-
make Musalia
and Musalia Mudavadi. And not only me, I'm
Yes.
on Sakaja.
Wanamdanganya
Do you know
bwana.
somebody called Sakaja?
I've heard
I
about
want to
him.
bring him to this studio. I want to
You
come
should
with
bring
him.
him. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. Huyo ndugu yangu Sakaja, we were with him in TNA.
Yeah.
We were with him in RUTO. We are now with him
They're
in,
the ones who are singing for us.
we are now the ones in ANC, Musalia Mudavadi. Listen, look at that super striker. It is the transfer window right now. You've seen another super striker called Cleophas Malala.
What tribe
Super
are they?
striker.
What tribe are they? What tribe is Sakaja? What tribe is Malala? What tribe is Musalia? Where do they come from? Western.
mambo
We are
ya-
talking about national outfits. Si mambo ya Western hapa, my friend. Tafadhali.
Now,
Hi.
I was worried he'll bring in that card of
No,
tribal.
no. Ni mambo tunaangalia. Unajua tunaangalia Kenya it's a national. That's why UDA inaenda inasimama huko pale anasema huko pale wametushinda. That is why UDA ilikuwa huko Ukambani. That is why hizi chama zingine haziwezi venture in zones that are not friendly to them. We are a national outfit. You are a tribal Western Kenyan outfit. Na mtaenda mahali na kina Malala wanadanganya tu Musalia kwa sababu gani? They want to kumtumia tu washinde hizo viti zao ya governor nini, but Musalia won't go any. And I repeat again, he has a front row seat in political wilderness unless he joins the hustler nation. And please, my good friend, ukikaa leo na mkienda huko Musalia Mudavadi Center, mwambie
Niko huko
umekuwa na
Satano.
mtu wa Nairobi School, amemwambia hivi akitaka kuja huko I can organize hizo mambo zote.
Nataka umorganizea meet old boys of Nairobi School.
Haya, bunge la mwenyeji 07798007798010 07798010. Bunge la mwenyeji iko wazi. Nambari ni 07798010 07798010. Bunge la mwenyeji iko wazi. Nambari ni 07798010. Bunge la mwenyeji chani angalia niandikia haraka upesi kidogo hapa. Bunge la mwenyeji 07798010. Unaweza piga simu tuambie unasikiaje kuhusu majamaa wanakanganyana hapa. Na keep wondering, in a contest between William Ruto and Musalia Mudavadi,
Musalia wins.
Can I answer that?
I'll start with him.
Okay.
Musalia
Then I'll
wins
get to you.
at very early in the day, because if they were just the only two,
Yeah.
and if the central Kenya is assured that Uhuru ameachana hivi tu yake ya Raila, they are safer with a man called Musalia Mudavadi.
Hi.
They will vote for Musalia Mudavadi. I want to give another place.
Hey, good morning.
Bunge la mwenyeji, jambo.
Good morning, Dara.
Kwa headphones. Salama, naongea na nani? Hii ni Hilary.
Naongea na Aaron.
Aaron. Mambo Aaron.
Welcome back bana.
Asante bro. Mlinitupa bwana.
Siku tu hata mimi nilienda huko ushago kidogo.
Leo ushago.
Yes, I want to see how things are running in the county.
Unaendaje huko ground?
Ni moto bro.
Nini ni moto?
Siasa iko mingi huko bana.
Hakuna kazi mnafanya, ni siasa tu.
Huko Bomet tu nini tuloga bana. Siasa ni mingi sana.
Mbona siasa ni mingi?
Hey, a lot of politics. Lakini kuna maendeleo kadhaa. Na barabara inajengwa, at least I'm happy. Hii issue ya Musalia bana. Sasa mnaongea kuhusu Musalia sana. Najua nimeenda kwa nini ya 2013 election nikaangalia numbers. Naona Musalia alikuwa na 400,000 votes.
500.
Wasema umeiba 100 mpeleka.
I have learned the figures. 483.
Ndio hiyo 500.
981.
That's 500. Nearest.
Let's say 500. Raila alikuwa na 5 million, my friend.
Sisi walio tulimpatia, hatutampatia tena.
Uhuru alikuwa na 6 million. You see, sometimes, let's be serious. Sometimes, now a lot on advice Mudavadi. Omwambie ukweli. Hii Kenya si maana kuwa mpole. Hii Kenya, you have to fight for your vote. Hii hata Western, I don't think kama wako na governor. Wako na governor hata moja.
Ako na governor Nyamira. Nyaribo, the governor for Nyamira. We are a national political party. We are not for Western. akona governor
Okay,
Nyamira.
okay. Unasema ni national. Ukiangalia wale watu wanasaron Musalia. They are all from Western region.
Nitakupatia
The
baadaye.
only guy, listen Munga, utaongea.
Haya.
The only guy I see fighting for Musalia is jamaa called Malala. Very strong.
Anataka governor.
Peke yake I can see is trying to help Musalia. But nasikia mchana yeye ako kwa Musalia, usiku ako kwa Asla. You see, that's the problem also. So you see, Musalia tafadhali nani Amunga.
Nimesikia.
Musalia ni mzuri. Napenda Musalia sana.
Ni mtoto wenyu mkale. Ni mtoto.
No, don't say me mkale. Shut I have a vote even if I'm mkale. So you see, these are reality. Sometimes tuambiana ukweli.
So unaona ile inapinakaa vipi? Kwanza Kiamba, umeangalia Kiamba nini endelea pale?
Kiamba ni moto. Unajua Kiamba?
Yeah.
Even new deal wasianze celebrate mapema. Unajua things can change overnight. These guys bana, you never know.
Okay.
Uliona wakati walikuwa wanapiga yes na no huko kwa hii mambo hii ilikuwa inaija nini
ya mbimbi ya
mbimbi ya, unaona jamaa alikuwa anasemanga mimi ile kitu nimebakisha nikusema tu kwenda na kwenda mbinguni. Then what thing?
Kidogo ukasikia bana. Ai.
So ile kitu naambia watu.
Ni hapo nilisikia mgongo imekata jasho kidogo. Nikajua hii.
Naambia watu. Hii ya Kiamba. Watu wasikuwa na high hopes.
Okay.
You never know. This is the first time UDA inaweka MP huko.
Okay, so whichever way it goes, let's start with Jubilee. If Jubilee wins, what do you think will happen? What is the message? What would be the political message on the landscape?
I think if Jubilee wins, at least Uru will have something to say now. To say that my area, I still have the need from my backyard.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say.
Yeah. What if UDA wins? Okay.
Uru is done and dusted.
Okay.
RUTO atatembea Kenya bwana. Ile nguvu atapata itasimamiwa na nani? Hata hii ya Musalia ataingia UDA mara moja. I think
hey.
I suspect Musalia hapo kwa UDA anajificha tu.
Unamshuku sana. Tangu kule bilao.
Nilikuwa kwa nini wedding ya juu.
Ni Mungu anaulizama ni gentleman. Unajua gentlemen don't keep beef when it comes to family.
That guy I know him. Ujamaa najua juzi over the weekend over the weekend alikuwa my area, alikuwa church nyingine hapo huko my area nilikuwa na yeye na nikaangalia ile group alikuwa na yeye wote from Western mpaka zero former speaker zini nani amezanya watu Western wote hata akienda coast pala akae na coast leaders anaenda na watu wa Western. Sasa surely how can you move around with your people from your local area? Angalia for example ile shida ziko Western. Hakuna factory in run Western side as we speak. Hakuna. People are languishing in poverty.
Okay.
And then you come and tell us you want to become a president when you cannot even wezi hata saidia hata ile kampuni iko karibu hii Mumias inasumbukana watu, hakuna kampuni ina run huko. Pan papers you what?
Tutaongea baba.
Haya.
Leadership ni kubadilisha nini ya wananchi, si kuongea tu na kusema nataka kitu. Start from your region kwanza, tengeneza mambo vizuri.
Haya.
Hata mahindi huko
sana Aroni.
Imeanguka mahindi.
Wewe Amunga.
Majani chai huko Bomet is not doing very well.
Listen.
And you are the vice president.
Listen Amunga.
Tusikia.
Over nilienda ushago nilikuwa na Isaac RUTO.
Jamaa
ametoa the line. Anasema mimi sina shida na ule jamaa na William. Mimi nimeachia William juu niachie chini.
So sio naye.
Sio na hakuna kitu bwana. Sio na wacha kuongea vitu vingine. Sio sasa wewe. Tumulitoa na sasa nyingine zinaenda tu nyumbani kutuka ng'ombe.
Asante sana Aroni, salimia watu wa Bomet. Na watu wa Bomet wanapenda siasa. Watu wa Bomet. Haya, bwana siku njema, asante sana kwa kupiga simu. Bunge la Mwananchi 07798010 07798010. Bunge la Mwananchi iko wazi, nambari ni 07798010 07798010. Tuambie mambo ipo kunaendaje. Ndio kina Martin Warui wamerudi pale YouTube Atticus na kuona Atticus the lines are open Atticus all the way from the UK. The lines are open +254 779 800 +254 779 800 Atticus from the UK. The lines are open. Dennis Aseko, no saving South Africa. The system is resetting itself. Okay. Bunga la Mwananchi.
Good morning, Gerard.
Good morning, sir. Good to see you, bwana.
Good to see you.
Umepotea sana. Jana siku kuona.
Sio sana. Wakati kipindi imerudi, I was on the road, eh?
Okay.
So I just joined in the last, few minutes, yeah?
All right.
But I'm very happy to see you back on air. God knows how much you have, missed this conversation.
Thanks, bana. Tuliombea Mungu tusiende.
That's okay. That's Mungu hata watu wake.
Kabisa.
They cannot succeed in closing down this space.
Amen.
Now, I have followed the conversations you had there with AMUNGA and the other gentleman from Nairobi School. Let me start with South Africa. Because I see you know South Africa.
Yes.
This is one of the South Africa has so many problems, structural issues, systemic problems, and truth be told, this is a $360 billion economy in terms of GDP, but this is one of the most unequal societies, not in Africa, but the whole world. If you look at something we call the Gini coefficient that we use to measure, equality or inequality, South Africa has one almost, I think 0.8, 0.9. In this country, you have 20% of the population, which is majorly the minority, owning about 80% of land in a black African country, If you go back to 1913, when the Native Lands Act was passed, and this Native Lands Act was passed and it confined Africans or blacks to homelands or something we used to call Bantustans, reserves, and they were dispossessed of their land. And through that dispossession, and land is, in Africa, land is a factor of production, Gerard.
Yes.
So if 80% of black South Africans don't own land, for instance, or own just 20% of land in that South Africa, and land is a factor of production, and they are dispossessed. And even after, 1994, after apartheid, ended, at least officially, but we do not know, in actual fact, it has not ended.
Yes.
There was no effort to redistribute land or wealth in South Africa.
Okay.
And even after 1994, some of the programs that were put in place only empowered a small clique of blacks at the expense of majority of blacks, If you look at Section 25 of the South African Constitution, which is, covers issues of expropriation of property.
Yes.
It does not provide for expropriation of land without compensation,
Yes.
And we need to expropriate land in South Africa so that there is a redistribution of land so that a majority of blacks have land. Unless you address the question of land in South Africa, unless you address the question of redistribution of wealth in South Africa, unless there are, very deliberate efforts to empower majority of blacks in South Africa, these issues are not going to go away.
Okay.
And in South Africa, after the retirement of Nelson Mandela, every other president that has been elected, Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma, all of them have not finished their 2 terms, Jacob Zuma instigated the fall of Thabo Mbeki, and, a gentleman by the name Halima Motlanthe, finished the 1 year. Jacob Zuma comes, he does not finish his 2nd term. Ramaphosa takes over. And even now, I suspect that Ramaphosa is not going to finish his 2 terms. In fact, when he was elected, I predicted that when I was still on Facebook. And, this gentleman will not finish, The other problem in South Africa, Gerard, is this one, You see, the ANC, the ANC is the problem because it has not been able to deliver on its mandate. It has been elected every election, but it has been unable to solve some of these issues that I am talking about. And the problem in ANC is this one, You have a small clique within the ANC, and if you do not fall within that small clique, then you cannot access if it is resources, if it is money to start business, you know, it's that the resources in South Africa are only open to a small clique within the ANC. And you know, ANC controls the levels of government. You know, it is more powerful than any other thing.
Okay.
You even find that the ANC constitution is perhaps more powerful than the South African constitution. So these issues have to be addressed. And I understand if you are saying that you are going, for instance, to jail Jacob Zuma and you have not jailed the people who are responsible for apartheid, people like de Klerk, you know, and all these other things, then where that, you know, South Africa needs to have a conversation with itself, and it is clear that the Truth and Reconciliation did not solve a lot of things. They suppressed a lot of grievances. I think it is time now to
fix their own issues.
Lastly on Kiamba.
Turudi Kenya mbio.
Lastly on Kiamba.
Yes.
I have been telling my friends in Jubilee and also in UDA now to chill, to wait for Thursday, so that the electorate in Kiamba are given an opportunity to go and elect their member of parliament.
Okay.
I want to correct something that Amunga has said, you know. This narrative that has been peddled around, you know, saying it is not the people who cast the vote who matter, it is the people who
count the vote.
Count the vote. I think that is a very unfortunate remark. That is a very unfortunate remark to be made by a person who has political interest. Amunga, do not try to sell fear to Kenyans, you know. Because, you know, that is one of the things, Gerard, that is going to create apathy among the voters, you know. And it is very important. You know, the ballot, Gerard, is supposed to give people hope.
Yes.
People believe that through the ballot I can change things. Now, when you start, you know, selling a narrative that tells people that you cannot change things through the ballot, what are you telling people, to stay away from voting? People have invested on how they are going to protect their vote. Let people go and vote. And let the people who are responsible within the parties protect the vote. The Supreme Court in 2017 dealt with some of these issues. If you go and play games with the vote, then people can come back to court.
Be ready for the consequences.
We need this. Yeah. But you cannot tell people that their vote does not count and it is other factors. And in fact, you know, Amunga is conflating issues that are very unrelated, and he is misleading viewers and he is misleading listeners. Don't just, you know, take statements and you bring them into our context and you say, you know, IMF and whatever. Of course, we understand the IMF. We went to school and studied the IMF. We know the global politics. We know the regional politics. We also know the local politics. But let people not sell fear and say that it is not the people who cast the vote that matter, it is other people.
Okay.
Atwoli who says, he says that Atwoli is the originator of that narrative. I want to ask Amunga, you know, Atwoli did not succeed in making Baba president in 2013. He also did not succeed in making Baba president in 2017. What can Atwoli advise a person about making a person a president? He has no record to show that he has supported anyone and became president. So he should just, you know, shut up, you know. So we choose not to listen to Atwoli.
Atwoli is a Kanu member. He made Moi the president for 24 years.
Thank you so much, Martin Waru.
Otherwise, it's good to see you back, and let's keep, you know, supporting the program and listening.
I appreciate, bro. Thank you so much, my brother, for tuning in. It's a pleasure to have you back as well. Na asante sana kwa kupiga simu na kuweza kuchangia mawazo yako. Nashukuru sana. Haya, bwana Munga la mwenyeji. For those guys who are outside the country, it's +254 779 800 010 +254 779 800 010 +254 7800 +254 779 800 010. Ngala mwenye nchi iko wazi. Articles say the parole is controlled by the elites. Okay, that's interesting to see. But anyway, like we said, let's not sell fear. Bunga la mwenye nchi. Bunga la mwenye nchi.
Bunga la mwenye jambo.
Jambo.
Habari ya asubuhi.
Salama sana. Mambo ikoje?
Poa.
Naongea na nani?
Mimi naitwa Ronald.
Okay, Ronald, talk to us.
Sasa mkiongea mambo ya Mudavadi hapo. Ambia Amunga hiyo is an non-starter, my friend.
Ala?
Is the most boring politician in Kenya.
Boring?
Are you guys looking for entertainment or leadership?
You get Churchill or somebody.
hata akiongea is not appealing to the voter.
He
At
lacks
the economy.
charisma.
At the number 1, economy. Number 2, economy. Number 3, economy. What's that? I like what you will do to Kenyans. Not saying to economy. What is all about economy? Na chama yake hata haifuki Moisbridge. Haipiti Moisbridge. Haipiti Yana River.
Akirani.
Wewe wacha bwana.
My friend.
Tuko na MCA in Wasingishu.
Our watu wote wa Western politicians. Their political parties yote haifuki Moisbridge. Haipiti Moisbridge. Ya Trans Nzoia, ya Western.
Okay.
Hata haifiki Kisumu. My friend. So ati unataka kuwa president ya nani?
Haya. Asante sana Ronald. Maamulia leo Mudavadi. Okay. Haya. Chama ipiti Moisbridge. Atikas.
Madharau.
Bunga la Majenchi. Hello. Good morning.
Mzuri bana. Mambo vipi?
Safi naongea na nani?
Unaongea na Peter huku, niko huko Western. Peter Mwaura.
Peter Mwaura vipi?
Poa sana bwana. Mimi yangu ni ya Kiambu.
Tuambie mambo ya Kiambu.
Na hii story ya huyu jamaa kuja kutuambia hapa ati story sijui ati itabadilika asubuhi. Saa 12, saa 3. Hiyo kura itakuwa ni ya UDA. Hakuna story nyingine.
Hala?
Uhuru arudishe ushindi yetu, ametunyang'anya ya kutosha. Atu Number 2. Maduka yetu ya Kikomba na nini haiuzi kwa sababu yake na juu ya ushuru wake. Ajue hiyo ndio ina affect watu upande hiyo. Mimi sina mengi ya kusema, ningesema watanifunga.
Asante sana. Lakini huyo jamaa naye kuna hasira kweli. Unaona vile watu wanapiga debe. Good morning. Bunga la Majenchi. I think this should be Atticus.
Good morning, Gerald.
How are you, sir?
Am I live or am I... Because I hear Peter talking.
You're very live. There's someone else was on call. How are you?
I'm very fine. I'm very fine, sir. I'm very fine.
Good to hear from you. Apologies. I know you've been trying to get through to the line, but you've been a bit busy as well. Good to see you.
Very, very good to speak to you, sir. Very good to speak to you. I spoke to you last time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. How is the UK?
I'm very good. Oh, it's very good. We're carrying on with work. It's a bit rainy.
Okay.
And we lost the Euro 2020. And some people are very sour about it, but I'm sure the English will get over it.
All right. And also apologize. I know you guys were really given a serious thrashing.
Listen. The English are a bit sour right now, and us black people are getting, well, they call us black people. I'm an African, but they call us black people, and we're getting a bit of a hard time because 3 players who are considered black missed the penalty. But it is what it is. Yeah. We're made of stronger stuff.
Okay, sure. All right, talk to us about the things that are happening here. I know you also following, and I like the fact that you're very much interested in what is happening locally, even as you stay outside.
Yes, sir. Just very quickly, I just wanted to say, regarding today's topic, we all have to be cognizant, and I don't say this to be against anyone, but I just want us all to be on the same page. You have to realize that virtually all African countries, you have to be cognizant of this. All African countries are colonial husks. No African came together to create Kenya. Show me where Africans came together to create Kenya. We inherited it. We inherited the colonial state. Am I right or am I wrong, Mr. Bitok?
Yes. You're right. You're correct, sir.
This is what I'm saying. Before that, every single nation, well, they call us tribes, but every single nation had our own tribal boundaries or national boundaries.
Okay.
And it is my thesis that we will all split eventually. We will all split, sir.
Okay.
Sudan used to be one country. Did it not split? North and South Sudan?
Yeah.
And even then, South Sudan is having problems. I promise you it will split between the Dinka, Nuer, and the other tribes eventually.
Okay.
Somalia used to be one country. Is it not 3 independent states right now? Is it not Somaliland, Puntland, and Juba to the south.
Okay.
Yet it used to be one country. Kenya will split the same way, sir. And alongside other countries, you can already see the unrest that's happening in South Africa.
Okay.
All just because of this man called Zuma. Zuma is a Zulu. Okay? It doesn't matter whether he committed a crime or not. The fact that the Zulu people are rising up, not every Zulu, but just enough of them to cause a problem. You understand?
Yes.
Just like in Kenya, the Luos, I'm a Luo, sir. I called last time, sir, and I told you this in full transparency. I come from Nyanza. I was born in Nairobi, but I come from Nyanza. The Luos in 2017 were murmuring about secession. Murmuring. Not saying it out loud, but murmuring about secession.
Yeah.
I promise you, sir, even Kenya will split one day. And it's not just that one tribe. Because all these countries were formed by foreign powers. I don't know why people of maybe my generation, I was born in 1986. I don't know when you were born, Mr. Bitok. Maybe in the 80s like I was.
Yeah.
Yes? I don't know why we pretend as if Kenya has always been Kenya. It has never been Kenya. My father was born in 1948. My father was born in Kenya before it became independent. My grandfather, his father, was born in a time when Kenya did not exist. That's 2 generations. Kenya did not exist when my grandfather was alive. So why are we acting as if Kenya has always been? All these African countries eventually will split. And that does not mean we hate each other.
Okay.
It just means it is what it is. All these things were created by foreign powers. I would hope us people that we call ourselves Kenyans today, us, the younger generation, I would hope we would come to our senses, sit down together and say, people, do we want to be together in this thing called Kenya? Instead of just playing the act. Because look, we have a youth pulse, Mr. Bitok. We have a young population, and a majority of them are unemployed. What are we going to do with these people? I work abroad. You have what you're doing, sir, and from what I can see on the screen, I don't see you starving. I see you earning. And it's not your fault that these other people are not earning. Look at the people in Kibera. That's just Nairobi. If you go to Kisumu, there's Kondele. If you go to Wasingishu, there's a slum there. If you go to Baringo, there's a slum there. If you go to Mombasa, there's a slum there. If you go to Mandera, there's a slum there. What about these people? What about these people, sir? This country, eventually, I'm not wishing for it. I'm just telling you what it is. Socio-economic. It will split one day because these people will not stand for you and me, people who can afford our way of life. Just continuing, and they, sorry, sir, not to interrupt you. I'm going to finish, and I'm going to allow you to speak. I'm sorry, sir.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
They will not just sit back and watch us buy our cars, buy our 5 acres, 10 acres of land, whatever, and they just sit back. This country will split, sir. I guarantee you. All these African countries are colonial husks. That's the risk. There's a reason the British, I live in the United Kingdom, and I'm saying this right now, sir. There's a reason the British have a base in Kenya, in Nanyuki, in the middle of Kenya. It's to protect their citizens and their interests. Kenya is the country where the queen came in as a princess and left a queen. It's not Uganda. Uganda was the country we were meant to be pushed in, the protectorate. Kenya was always the crown colony. They have interest here. And I'm not going against the UK or anything they say. They have their interests and I respect that. But this country and every other African country is at risk of splitting. The Zulus are already rising up. And I know Jacob Zuma is a criminal, convicted. From what I've seen in Kenya, he is a criminal. He did steal money. But you see how his tribe That's the key. His nation is behaving.
Okay.
And that's what I want people to be cognizant of. I respect people who have tried to fight for this country. Kenya is not a nation. Kenya is a country.
Okay.
Kenya is a country made up of multiple nations, sir. The Nandi are a nation. The Luo are a nation. The Mijikenda are a nation. The not the Agikuyu, but the Gikuyu are a nation. The Ameru are a nation. This pretending as if we're just lumped up in one thing. You see why the schizophrenia is there between us. It will never work. All these African countries will split. But I do hope that there's no bloodshed. I do hope there's no animosity. I would hope that we all sit together right now while we still have the chance.
And fix our issues.
And me, our generation, sir.
Okay.
Because we do know different. Not our elders, not our children. Us right now. I do hope we sit together and come to terms and say, look, we are a colonial state.
Okay.
Not in terms of being controlled now, but this thing. We came together only because the British drew the borders. My tribe is the Luo. How is it that we occupy Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania?
Okay.
This is why I'm asking you, Mr. Bitok.
All right.
To ask the Kenyan people, let us come together right now. Let us sit down. Let us discuss. Do we want to stay together or not? If not, let us go our own way. I know there are foreign powers and local powers that would not allow this. I know this.
Okay, Atticus. That's very interesting statements from you, all right?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
as you wind up so that we... All right, because of time.
Yeah, no, I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish right now. But I understand that there are foreign and local powers that would never allow us to do this. But I would rather, even informally, let us be realistic with each other.
Okay.
The Nandi had their own nation. The Kipsigis had their own nation. The Luo people had their own nation. In 2017, the Luo people said they want secession.
They have their own president. They still have a people's president.
No. Forget the president. Forget Raila. Forget Raila. I told you, I don't support Raila Amolo Odinga. I'm a Luo. Forget him. The Luo people truly believe in Luo land. I don't know about the Nandi. I don't know about the Kikuyu. I don't know about the Mijikenda. I don't know about any other tribe. But the Luo people truly believe that Luo land is theirs. They don't believe. They accept Kenya, but they believe that land is theirs.
Okay.
As long as that mentality exists, Mr. Bitok.
Yes.
As long as that mentality exists, you can never dismiss secession.
Okay.
Of any tribe, not just the Luo. And listen, I want us to be together, but we have to sit down
and fix our issues.
Talk.
Okay.
I want to be with you, Mr. Bitok.
I'm ready. You come back.
I don't want to leave you.
Hey.
I don't want to leave you. You are my brother. You are my intellectual brother. I wish we were together. But we still have to sit down because this I don't want to use the word poor because you and I, intellectually, economically, are more or less on the same level.
Yeah.
But these poorer people, they're the ones who will fight because they outnumber us. They will fight and listen. If they want this thing to separate, it will separate.
Okay.
All these other countries that I gave you, Sudan, Ethiopia, they all split. Somalia, they all split. Who's to say Kenya is not going to split?
Okay.
Even Uganda, when Museveni dies, all these different tribes, even the Acholi want to unite with the Luo. When Museveni dies, who's to say they won't fight for it?
Okay.
I'm not lying to you because I'm a Luo. I'm telling you.
All right. Thank you so much, Atticus, for calling in.
Thank you so much.
Been a pleasure. Hope to see you again tomorrow.
Take care, sir.
Thank you, my brother, and pass regards to all the guys in the UK. We really appreciate your support. May God bless you.
I'm buying you a Fanta when I come back home.
All right. Asante sana ndugu yangu. I really appreciate. I'll be waiting. All right. Now, those are Kenyans. Mefunga simu, bunge nimekafunga. Haya, acha turudi hapa tusikie majamaa wanasemaje kuhusu simu za wananchi. Okay. I'll start with you, Amunga. Any response?
Yeah, of course I've been listening to the
phone calls.
Of course, the first two were obviously... We have a lot of Tanga supporters on this forum, which is okay. I appreciate.
They are your people. You are the one who brought them.
Yeah. I noticed there are teachers and friends of mine up and down. But I want to say this. It's a wrong notion to try and imagine that Mudavadi and his party are not going anywhere. Who had heard of even Mwai Kibaki Emilio? Mwai Kibaki Emilio, before things called TNA and PNU, what was his party? Can you even remember the name of his party?
Democratic Party. He's been the leader of opposition ever since. What do you mean?
Not ever since.
What do you mean?
Raila has been the leader of opposition.
No.
But so, how many votes did he... You know, somebody has called and said, Mudavadi got you, I don't know, in 2013, 500, I don't know, votes. How many votes did Kibaki get when he started? In fact, it was less than 500,000. So what we are trying to say is this. When you, by the way, how many votes did Uhuru get when he first vied as a president? Leave alone even as a president. As a Kiambu something in the tool.
Kiambu something.
Yes, I don't know, was it an MCA or something? he flopped. Uhuru flopped. So we don't judge people with how they started. It is their finishing that matters. So our viewers and our listeners need to realize that it's not about how many votes Mudavadi got in 2013. Start asking yourself, now, what are the factors at play in 2020 when Mudavadi now goes for the presidency? I can assure you,
is he going to go for the presidency?
He's going for the presidency.
Put your kidneys on the table. Amunga. Put your kidneys on the table.
Putting my heart.
No, put all your kidneys on the table. Is Musalia Mudavadi running for president?
He is running for presidency.
What if he doesn't?
He
will fry your kidneys.
No, if he doesn't run,
he'll be in a coalition.
He will not be in any coalition. But he is running. I'm confident. I speak to him almost every day. I know Musalia Mudavadi will be on the ballot and he will win. He is the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya because of the ideologies, the gentlemanness, the goodness that he's bringing to the table, and other factors that I told you come to play. And there's a viewer or one of the callers who has said that Amunga should avoid using those words. At least me and my brother from Nairobi School agreed on that one, that there are many other factors that come to play in an election. So you will vote, you vote. But euphoria and all these other things don't count when it comes to election day.
Hi. Any response to the calls?
I mean, I need not say much because it's quite evident, okay? Kiamba is yellow. And I remember as we were starting out, I didn't want to say this before Munga arrived. Yeah? I told you, asked me why UDA will take the day. I told you I have two reasons. And one was because of the president. There's the second issue that most people are not aware of. There's this fellow, Kariri Njama. Back in 2017, he was the people's favorite, okay? Yeah. But unfortunately, Jubilee denied him the party's ticket, which was a sure bet then. I don't know if you guys remember that, okay? Since then, the guy has been a beloved hustler lieutenant, okay? Until he was blackmailed by Jubilee stalwarts and some power brokers to abandon his party of choice. And I'll tell you something for sure, that has left a very, very bitter, if not sour taste in the people's mouth. And hapo sasa ndo sasa watapigwa vibaya sana. Kwa sababu Jubilee ndio the strategy was well. The guy ako sawa lakini hile kumtoa huku sijui alimblackmail na nini. Wakamtoa huku wakakuja hii Jubilee hapo sasa ndo ametupa. So there are three factors why this thing is going to UDA. One is the Uhuru card. Two, Raila phobia. Raila phobia. Then three, and most importantly, Ujama was a hustler nation lieutenant. Akatoka akaenda huku. Okay. Na watu wanampenda. Sasa hiyo kuenda huku na watu walimwambia, unajua watu wanakupigia kura wao wenyewe waliwaambia wewe tunakupenda kaa hapa. Yeye akaona si mnanipi. He thought he was popular na akadanganya ameenda huku. And I need to stress something here. Jubilee party is just here to flex its political muscles. They do not have an iota of care for about
the candidate
political career. No, not candidate. Because it's going to Jubilee ticket, the Jubilee Party ticket, has lost it's a pale shadow of what it used to be. It's just a certain ticket to political oblivion. I can tell you for sure.
This gentleman learned a lot of good English in Nairobi school. I want to say something about yesterday. There was I came late, so he didn't give me time to reflect.
The studio was here.
Yes, he came too early.
Reflect. Okay, reflect. You can reflect. I'm forgiving you for today, so you can reflect.
Yes, okay. Listeners and my fellow panelists here, there was a big ceremony yesterday in Safari Park Hotel, and I attended. I'm a teacher, by the way, my brother from Nairobi School. I would have been your teacher. You should be proud of me. So I taught at Kakamai School, I taught at Kipsumu Boys, I taught at Machakos here, before I went into union politics. And what I can say is that yesterday the unions were signing a CBA. And they signed, you can see the headlines. I don't know if the papers are here in the studio today, but the headlines are, teachers come out empty-handed. If there is something that, why even Kiamba?
Yes, TSC outsmarted teachers.
Yes. If
I saw you outsmarted yesterday. Paul sana.
If you look, because
I hope they don't do this to you again.
Our friend Wilson Sosion has been a great debater. He's a great trade unionist. One thing that the RUTO, let me use the word also RUTO, because I want to combine these fellows together,
your friends,
have succeeded to do in this country is to kill voices, the trade union voices, frustrate them, civil societies, and even, should I add the judiciary? You see people like Nelson Harvey, the things they're going through. Yes. You read and see on Twitter that you remove somebody from the door and the next thing, DCI. This is something that's supposed to be reported at a simple police station. DCI come into your office and arrest you. There's a lot of harassment. I don't know if it really comes from the two leaders or is people taking advantage of being associated with these leaders to harass and intimidate. The doctors' union, which you used to hear about, that those guys that Dr. Uma Oluga, that man went yellow. I'm sorry to use the word yellow because yellow is your color. But these are guys who they're no longer being heard. Trade unions in this country have died, my friends. With the death of Nat, with the removal of Sosion, trade unions have died. So the guys who went to negotiate, they did not go to negotiate for teachers. Okay. They went there because they want stomach, they want money. One thing this government has really done, as this gentleman put it very clearly, it's able to play one person against the other by buying them. So this trade unionists, all they're being done, when they discover you are a strong trade unionist, if you can be compromised, you are brought on the table and you are given the money or you are assisted. If not, cases are put on you. The same way Ruto puts it about his colleagues in UDA. The moment they see you are a strong guy, you'll get a call from KRA, from DCI, from whoever. Anti-corruption. So Sosion has been getting threats from NSIS, from what step down, can you go leave this trade union?
Sosion wept.
Sosion had to cry. Actually, I cried with Sosion because
in solidarity. Where were you crying at home?
I cried in Kiluya. Kiluya. I want to say this. Sosion had tried for teachers of this country. Today you go to all WhatsApp groups, all messages are Afadhali Sosion. There's a man who came in called Oyu. This Oyu man, you'll read about him as days go by. You'll get to know him. He's a government stooge, a government project. Even Baba himself, he comes from Rarieda. Baba had rejected him. But you know, there's a way they brought him through TSC and the government. They washed him. They cleaned him. They gave them money. They told him now campaign against this guy. They starved Sosion and his friends. Sosion did not get salary for 2 years. Oh, I mean, I want to cry. I want to say this.
Cry,
yes, I want to cry. So the only thing that our government, I personally went to see Atwoli. I said, how can you save Atwoli? I mean, how can you save Sosion? The answer was, it's too late. Okay. The decisions have been made. Teachers, the loser is not Sosion. Sosion is even in parliament. The losers are going to be the workers of this country. Unless there is good government change in 2022, a man like Musalia Mudavadi takes over. A man who knows what it means to be a worker. A man who went to a public school like Nairobi School. A man who knows, sometimes I normally tend to think that some of us went to some of these public schools are better leaders. Because we understand, we were in those boarding schools. Tuliona hiyo I may use a bad word.
Kuhustle. Thank you.
Tuliona hiyo kusurvive. We survived in those boarding schools.
But I correct you.
You must say something.
Tumekavunga.
You must not let him say something.
Musalia Mudavadi was a prince. Back then, it was not called the Nairobi School. It was Prince of Wales. And naweza kuonyesha picha. There were like 3 black fellows.
There's another fellow got Aaron Kibet Kitu amesema say hi to my fellow Pacherian, okay?
So
masalimiwa. Najua sisi wenye tulisomea polling station bana, we cannot greet each other. You're leaving it to these guys to greet each other. Oh, I was here. Sisi tunakuwa tumenyamaza tunangoja our turn to talk about casting votes.
Yeah.
Polling station. Haya, finally BBI survival itaamuka ama tusahau.
I have 2 things kusema about BBI. Number 1, it's unconstitutional, it's illegal, hata hatufai kuongelelea.
Haya.
Ngoja sijamaliza, I said to hiyo ni 1. Sasa kuna watu wanasema rege iendelee. Okay? And I want to say something here. Na hii naongea kama mwanasiasa.
Okay.
The biggest beneficiary of BBI is William Samoei Ruto. Ask me why. Kitu kubwa inatusumbua sahi kwa kampi yetu ni tunapatia nani deputy president. Unanielewa? Because to be the president of Kenya, you need the support of 2 major nations, as ule jamaa UK amesema, and 1 small nation. Sawa sawa. So EDP tukipatia nation moja, ingine inaweza leta noma, ingine unaelewa hizo mahesabu. But with BBI we have 4 positions. Tuko na deputy president, tuko na prime minister, tuko na deputy prime minister, tuko na deputy prime minister. For us, and our motto is, it's not about us, we are winning, them they are losing. For us, it's always win-win.
Okay.
So BBI ipite, hewaya, the better. Ikikataa pia, good. Sisi, we are not affected anyway.
Okay.
Yes.
Our stand as ANC has been very clear. During the bombers discussion, Musalia Mudavadi first raised the questions of what he thought they were not the right things in the BBI. In fact, RUTO copied from Musalia Mudavadi.
No, it's the other way around.
No, Mudavadi spoke first, questioned about the ombudsman, questioned about county government and the...
But
the
still said it's a good document.
No, yes.
What RUTO was going to say.
Then RUTO now came up and, dramatized. Now, what I want to say is this. Musalia went and signed on it because those things he raised were changed.
Okay.
The things that he talked about in bombers, all of them were addressed. They were not in that document that came out. Then it went through the processes, but Musalia Mudavadi is a stickler to the law. When he saw the issue of the courts come up, he told Kenyans, we will rather wait for the law to take its course. But the law has timelines which we as Kenyans may not be able to fit in. Musalia advised, if you want to do any changes now, especially to reform the IEBC, we should go the IPPG way, inter-party parliamentary initiative. It will be the best way to solve the current situation. Because as my brother puts it, the BBI by now has been overtaken by events. Okay. We know obviously the timelines will not allow. The Tangatangas will go to the Supreme Court if they lose. Or Jubilee Kieleweke and their handshake they may go to Supreme Court if they lose. Okay. The only thing we can say is, let us look for a way to reform IEBC. My brother, if that man from UK is saying something, we need to reform IEBC.
True.
The only problem that BBI had, it lost the line. Ikaanza kuleta vitu mingi, we are reggae, we are what? BBI was supposed to reform IEBC. Yeah. But when it was politicized, then these reggae guys came in. That to me is when BBI became nothing. Kenyans hate it. Yeah. You read on social media everywhere, Kenyans want BBI to die. I want to say this. Wacha court iendele, but what I can tell you, timelines are already defeated. It's now over. We cannot even depend on it. Okay. Let's go for IPPG. Do it. Let UDA come with their people. Let ANC come with their people. Let them discuss at that party level before we go for the elections.
Okay. Asante sana. It's been a pleasure having you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming in. And Amunga, I hope to see you again. Musalia Mudavadi. If they can give you kuna nomination ya presidential ticket.
No, why?
One man direct.
Musalia is a presidential candidate.
Not even Amunga.
If
they give Amunga, I'll vote for Amunga. Anyway, thanks for coming in. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen, for tuning in. The guys who have called in, the guys on YouTube, it's been a pleasure having you. All the guys as well on Facebook, thank you. And Bunga na Mwenyenchi, nashukuru sana kuweza kuzungumza na nyinyi. This is a tackle and it ends now. Siasa Wednesday. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're having a presidential candidate.
Wow, Musalia.
Not Musalia. A guy called Ruben Kigame. Ruben Kigame decided now safari ya mbinguni akutanishe na yeye twende pamoja.
He's my college mate in KU.
Yes, Ruben Kigame.
He wants to be the president.
Yes, he's of Kenya. Of Kenya. He has launched his presidential campaign.
Yeah, he will not win. He will not win. He's my college mate in KU. He comes from
Can you respect my candidates on the show? Can you respect my candidates on the show? How do you mean he will not do it? Haya. Kesho tuko na Pastor Ruben Kigame ama anawania kiti cha urais Kenya hii. Presidential candidate Ruben Kigame will be here with us tomorrow as we have a conversation on what agenda he has for the nation. Every other person is talking about something. Musalia Mudavadi, middle loud, whatever it is.
Economy that works for all.
Raila Odinga talking about villagers, rural empowerment. Tangatanga, wheelbarrows and bottoms up. Others talking about trickle down, trickle on the side. Tusonge nayo. So tomorrow we're going to have Ruben Kigame. He's going to tell us where he's handling his agenda. Until tomorrow, see you. It ends now. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.